Hey, how you doing today? I am Taquila Coleman. In today's video, we're going to talk about beware of the prodigal false prophet. So I was reading in the book of Ezekiel chapter 13, and it talks about false prophets condemned. I need you to understand that prodigals can also be a false prophet as well. Okay, a false prophet is anyone trying to prophesy, thus saith the Lord, when the Lord said nothing to them. Okay, so open up your Bible and turn to Ezekiel chapter 13. We're going to start at verse 1. It said, "The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel who are now prophesying. Say to those who prophesy out of their own imagination." So, right there, right off the bat, false prophets, they prophesy out of their own imagination. And we have some prodigals who are prophesying out of their own imagination. It say, "Hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the foolish prophets who follow their own spirit and have seen nothing." False prophets, they follow their own spirit. They have seen nothing. They prophesy out of their own imagination. Okay. Verse 4. Your prophets, Israel, are like jackals among ruins. You have not gone up to the breaches in the wall to repair it for the people of Israel so that it will stand firm in a battle on the day of the Lord. Their visions are false and their divination a lie. Even though the Lord has not sent them, they say, the Lord declares, and expect him to fulfill their word. So let's stop right here because it's telling us, even though this prodigal false prophet is saying to the God-ordained spouse or to their husband or wife, the Lord said this, the Lord said that, but we reading here that the Lord didn't say anything to this person, right? And so for my standards, those who are currently married, you probably have heard this come out of the prodigal husband or prodigal wife mouth. They probably said something such as, God told me to divorce you and marry the counterfeit. Now that's a lie. That's a lie. All right. Or they probably said, God told me you're not my wife, or you're not my husband, or God told me to let this go. Right. That's not what God is saying. Okay. This isn't what God is saying when you have confirmation after confirmation after confirmation of God telling you to stand and fight for your marriage. So you automatically know God didn't say that. So prodigals can be false prophets, okay? And they prophesy out of their own imagination. And prodigals also have idols set up in their heart, okay? In Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 3, it says, Son of man, these men have set up idols in their hearts and put wicked stumbling blocks before their faces. So when we have idols set up in our heart, that means even when God is speaking to that prodigal and telling that prodigal, go home and work it out with your husband, work it out with your wife, right? When God is speaking to that prodigal and telling them, I'm going to restore this, I'm going to help you go home, reconcile with your husband or wife. But because the prodigal got this idol set up in their heart, they set on their own way. They set in their own ways. They want what they want. They have already decided in their heart, no, I'm about to, get a divorce and I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna, be single. I'm gonna live, how I want to live. Ain't nobody gonna control me, right? These are all signs and indicators that this person, this prodigal, has idols set up in their heart. And here's the thing: when we have idols set in our heart, God will answer you according to your idolatry. Okay, so he will give you over to the very thing you are idolizing. This is why many of you who are standing for a God ordained marriage, you heard God tell you who your God ordained future husband or wife is. You getting the confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, right? God is encountering you. However, you see this person now went and married a counterfeit. Why is that? Because God has given this person over to that idol that was in their heart. In their heart, they were set on their will, you know, um, going forward. They were set on marrying this counterfeit when they heard God say no, when they got all the signs that was pointing to no, but they were set on having this counterfeit to be their wife. And so This is one of the reasons why many of you who are standing for these God ordained marriages, this is why you see the person who God has been promising you or telling you that this is your God ordained future husband or wife. This is why they have gotten married to the counterfeit, because they were set on their will. They wanted it their way. Okay. That's the person they chose. God didn't choose that counterfeit. They chose it. And so they put themselves in that marriage. Okay. So, and like how the Bible say, God would give them over to their idols that's in their heart. Okay. So don't worry. All right. But understand, going back to coming back to the video, prodigals can be false prophets as well. So you can't take everything at face value when you are dealing with a prodigal. We already know prodigals are bound by the enemy. Them unclean spirits are operating on the inside of the prodigal. And when the prodigal open up their mouth, you got to be aware, because unclean spirits will speak through this very person. Okay. And it sounds like, I want a divorce. It sounds like, God told me to divorce you and marry that counterfeit. This is an unclean spirit. This is a false prophecy that is coming forward. God didn't tell this individual this thing, okay? So don't be discouraged. Just get understanding. And I do want you to read Ezekiel chapter 13 for more understanding and revelation, okay? So with that, I am Taquila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.